All right. After an awesome stream last week where we were talking about games that aged well, we're going to ruffle some damn feathers tonight because we're going to talk games that aged bad. And Shaq Oatmeal's back in the house. Josh, give me that countdown, homie.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacina. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match!
Shoot the J, Joe! Okay. Shoot it!
All right!
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run!
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe! Run for your life, Joe!
Running!
Run faster! Oh no, Joe! The galaxy's doomed because of you!
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe!
Thank you.
Yo! That's diabolical! Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Thank you, NerdCage Nation, for getting us to 700 subscribers. But Joe, there's still work to do if we're going to give away a free Xbox Series X.
That's right. Get us to 1,500 subs right here on YouTube, and we will give this Xbox Series X away to one lucky winner once we hit our goal.
Come on! Xbox Series X is where it's at. We can play games like Halo and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And for you sports junkies, you can play the latest Madden and NBA 2K and play almost any game you want under the Fantasticals Xbox Game Pass.
We want you to be able to play all the best games with a brand new Xbox Series X that you can win right here on NerdCage Live.
Once we get to 1,500 subs, we will release a video on how you can enter, and we will give this away on a live stream.
No purchase necessary, US and Canada only. Please subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in a nerd cage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
All right, before we get started, let's go New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go New York. Let me gloat. Just let me gloat.
You've earned it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. That being
They've
said,
been sucked for so long, man.
Did you know that that theme song was made by the, I think it was the owner of the Atlanta Hawks at one point?
Side note, speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, Celtics are still kicking ass, so yeah.
just you wait, Josh. That being said, you're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello and welcome. That's right. Once again, you're trapped in NerdCage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture, including video games that have aged bad. Please hit that like button and subscribe. And of course, subscribe to our sub-channel that's NerdCageLIVE Gaming. I'm your co-host, Jay St. G, certified geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, the land of the orange, the land of Tom Cruise, the land of Earth Crisis, the land of Anthrax, Syracuse, New York. And our moderator, Trollhammer, is not here tonight. He's at work, but I see him in the chat. But
good.
From on paper, my awesome co-host, Josh from New Jersey. How's it going, bud?
What's going on, man? On paper, I didn't get even time to post any videos this week, so unfortunately, I'm going to try next week. Have a lot of things I want to say, you know what I mean, and as far as my channel, you know what I mean, and things I want to do on my channel, so hopefully next week I'll get time to do them. That's it. Enough about me. We got one of my favorite human beings on the planet down below. Him. Yeah, we got Shaquille Oatmeal from the Round 1 podcast. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, thank you guys for having me back again for another week.
Absolutely.
I'm doing great. It's always great to be here.
All right, Shaq, for those who haven't met you yet, even though I'm pretty sure everyone has, but explain what you do, explain your podcast, your channel, and all that good stuff.
I do a podcast that Josh mentioned, the Round 1 podcast, talk about video games, talk about sports, talk about anime, talk about a bunch of nerdy pop culture shit. And then I stream on Twitch 5 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are throwback days. Every other day is more modern games. On Tuesdays, we're currently playing Final Fantasy IX, nice. And Thursdays is Metal Gear Solid 1 currently. So
awesome.
Go check us out. Check me out there. It's twitch.tv/Shaquille_Oatmeal_RO. Go follow me there. And then on YouTube, I do reaction videos to like old sports clips from like baseball to basketball, football, things like that. Do videos on anime recommendations, a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, go give me a follow. I'd love to have you guys.
Yes, the links are in the description. Everything, his podcast, his YouTube channel, his Twitch, all that's in the description. Please sub this man up. He's one of a kind, and we are lucky to have him on with us tonight. And for you sports junkies out there, please keep us posted on the draft tonight. I would love to know what's going on. I'm doing multiple things at once here running the stream. So if you guys know who gets drafted, let us know. My Giants don't pick the 25th, so I probably won't even see. I'll probably be in bed by the time the Giants pick because the draft takes forever.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oatmeal is the Ravens, I'm the Patriots, so those three.
Also, I just want to welcome the chat real quick. I see our co-host Joe, who's at work, FallenOne Gaming, of course, and my dear friend Scott. Thank you for being here tonight.
Scott.
Again, we're going to ruffle some feathers. So here's what's going to happen tonight. Pretty Garden, this was supposed to be her last show. She bowed out. For the record, everything's on good terms, but she didn't make it in tonight. So it's going to be the three of us plus Joe. He's here in spirit, and I have Joe's list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Joe's games. Then we're going to go on to Shaq. We're going to go clockwise, then to Josh, and then to me. And we're going to do what we did last week, because I think it worked out pretty good. We're going to name 2 games at a time, and then just let our nuts hang.
Okay.
So, without further ado, these are video games that have aged bad. Now, the criteria for tonight is it's got to be games from the PS2, Xbox, Gamecube era, and before. Obviously, because games from afterwards, for the most part, still haven't aged yet, really.
Yeah.
So that's why that's the criteria exactly the same as last week. And you know what? If you guys love that shit, we'll do more. But before we get started, a lot of stuff to promote. We got a lot of stuff coming. There's stuff I can't talk about right now. There's a lot of stuff in the works right now, but here's what I can talk about. So for starters, if you haven't already, if you missed last week's live stream, the games have aged well. The podcast is now available on all platforms as well as the YouTube stream. Check it out if you haven't already. Tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because Joe's working till 11, we're going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake on Twitch tomorrow at 11. I'll start it off, and then Joe's going to walk in whenever he gets out of work. So we'll go from like about 11 till about 2 in the morning tomorrow. This may be the last because we're on the island now. We may be finishing the game. So that will be, again, Resident Evil 4 Remake, twitch.tv/NerdCageLive tomorrow night at 11. And then Tuesday, we are back playing Metroid Prime. That'll be at 8 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, back playing Metroid Prime Remastered. And then the following week, and we're going to go on Saturday. We have a special Saturday stream. I'm very excited. Long time in the making. The podcast, the Resident Evil podcast hosts, Jill's Sandwich Shop, will be stopping in on Saturday, May 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk everything Resident Evil, including Resident Evil 4 Remake. Cannot wait. I'm a huge fan of their podcast, and it's going to be a great freaking time. And then the following week, the Cryptic Collectors podcast will be guesting on the show on Thursday, May 11th. Tentatively at 9 o'clock Eastern. We may change the time, but tentatively this will be at May 11th. We have more stuff in the works that I cannot talk about, but that's as far as I'll go. And of course, I'll play Hades at some point. That being said, let's get this party started. Get that hype buzz going.
Headshot. Hadouken!
All right. So, I'm going to name 2 of Joe's list. I don't know if he's got it in order or not.
Okay.
By the way, Joe saying in the chat, just to clarify, my criteria for these games are game mechanics and graphics, not characters and story. Fair enough. And I'll have my explanations too. So for starters.
Same. Yeah.
Joe. His number 10 and his number 9. Silent Hill 1 and Tenchu are his first 2 games. Alright, I'll be honest with you, I've never played Silent Hill before.
Really?
And I don't even know what Tenchu is, so I'm gonna bother.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like a fighting game.
You never played Tenchu? It's like a game like where you're like a ninja. It's kind of like I think it's from the PS1.
Oh, is it like Ninja Gaiden?
It's very similar to Ninja Gaiden from what I remember, but it's not. It's like the Ninja Gaidens that were on like the original Xbox, not like the original Ninja Gaidens from the NES. They were more. Okay. It was more of like a Animushu type of game, like stealthy ninja, but stealthy ninja instead of just like running samurai.
No,
and
you're the
slice people
savior.
up.
You're the savior, bro. This is why you're the savior. You're gonna
all
explain
right. So
what
that
the
being
fuck
said,
this
Shaq,
is.
would you agree that these 2 games have aged bad?
Silent Hill 1 is on my list, but I definitely like that Tenchu is on there because I haven't thought about that game since I played it as a kid. Once you said it, I was like, wow, yeah, thinking back, that game is probably terrible if I played it now.
Okay, for the record, Joe says his list is not in any particular order.
Wait, but is it worse than Ninja Gaiden by like a mile? It's not even like I made that comparison without even any context.
What's Ninja Gaiden though?
What is it?
What's Ninja Gaiden?
Oh, which one? I don't.
Yeah.
Is it close to the 2009 one? The one that I played, the remastered one.
Yeah, I haven't played Ninja Gaiden in a long ass time.
Yeah, it's close to the. I would say it's close to the ones from the original Xbox. Like I think it was like Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden. I don't remember the other. There was like 3 I think that were on the original Xbox. I don't remember their names.
Okay.
But I remember Tenchu being kind of like a stealth ninja game that was like almost like the Ninja Gaiden games on the Xbox, but it wasn't very.
And
Silent Hill
got a remaster, didn't they? And that was a flop, wasn't it? The Silent Hill remastered.
Oh, I don't remember it being remastered. The original one.
Okay.
I know the original one is like super dated. Even like this is the thing with I think with all these games, even though they aged poorly, I think a lot of the ones that I wrote down, I still definitely love and have like a adoration for, and a nostalgic feeling for. But I think a lot of them are like objectively like not good anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair to say. That being said, Shaq, go ahead and name first 2 games on your list. Doesn't matter what order, I guess, but whatever. You got.
Even though I love this game, this is one of my favorite games ever made. And I still play it to this day. I own it on multiple platforms, and I play it at least like once every couple of years. Morrowind. I think Morrowind is
Oh, that's the Elder Scrolls 3, right?
Yes, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I love Morrowind. That's top 3 favorite games of all time. But I'm able to like remove my bias and see that like it is objectively a very flawed game. From the controls are super archaic to use and like get used to. There's a lot of things that you have to menu systems and things you have to maneuver. There's no like hand holding whatsoever. You basically have to figure out what you have to do by reading a journal entry. So like there's no go here, there's a quest marker there, go in this direction, go there. It's like you have to read a bunch of pages in a journal that like your character wrote down and figure out where you have to go and what your objective is, who you have to talk to, and then you don't even know where this person is that you have to talk to. So you have to go to like the village that they're in and then find them in the village. The combat is like very Dungeons and Dragons-y, where it's like a dice roll. It's dependent upon a dice roll, and then however high you get in that level, the dice roll odds get higher and higher and higher. There's a lot of mechanics.
It's funny. It's just, I remember that game being all the hype and rage in high school. It was Halo and Morrowind were like the two Xbox games that everybody was losing their shit over.
Yeah, Morrowind is amazing. I still think it's amazing, and there's not many other games like it that exist. But
with all these new Elder Scrolls games, you know, there's just...
Well, aren't they all separate, though? Like, 4 is different than 3, 5 is different than all of them. Like, Skyrim is somebody's life, and then...
It's like Final Fantasy. Like, they all have, like, a different story, but it takes... The Elder Scrolls games take place within the same, like, universe at different time periods and different locations of the world.
And I'm not ashamed to admit, as like, you know, I'm a scrub, man. I need those directions, dude. And I'm so happy that these newer games tell you where the fuck to go. I'm sorry.
It's very hardcore. It's like very hardcore, and I think a lot of people don't have that energy or time to do that. So they're just like, dude, I don't care, and then they lose interest, and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can understand it might be fun, but like, I don't even want to go through the effort. It's too much effort.
Right.
And my other game outside of Morrowind is another game that I love, and it's kind of has the same issues. It's Shenmue. I think we mentioned it last time.
Okay. I don't disagree with that, but I love that fucking game.
Oh,
By
so
the way,
do I.
Jay, before I talk about Shenmue, Jay, am I next?
Yes.
Good, because I want to talk about something. I can't wait. But Shenmue, oh, were you done? I'm sorry, you continue, Shaq. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say that I think Shenmue was a phenomenal game for its time. I think it went on to
record, it's not for everybody, and I get it.
Yes. I think it inspired so many other games.
Like Yakuza in particular.
Yes, Yakuza. It was also the first like kind of semi-open world game of the time. And I know Grand Theft Auto 3...
with real time... Well, not real time, but there was time involved and...
Grand Theft Auto 3 was kind of inspired by Shenmue. There was a lot of like sandboxy open world games that were inspired by Shenmue. It kind of innovated a lot of things that we see in gaming today, but when you go back and you look at it, it's kind of redundant. Some of the things were like done.
It was groundbreaking at the time.
Oh yes, definitely.
It was insane. Like, it used the Sega Dreamcast to its full capacity.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'll just say, okay, before we get to you, Josh, I'm just gonna
no, it's fine. Yeah.
Shaq. How would you feel if they remade the game? Do you think it's due for a remake, or do you think you just leave the classic as B?
I think this is the thing. I think Shenmue is special to the people that love Shenmue.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I think if you were to change Shenmue, it would no longer be Shenmue.
Gotcha.
I think if you were to remake it, because I think if you remade it, the closest thing that you would get to a remake, I don't know if you played Shenmue 3 when they released it on PS4,
okay, so I played 1 and 2, obviously. The third one, I didn't have a PlayStation 4. So I watched a playthrough. I watched the whole playthrough, and I was disappointed because I thought they were going to end the story. They didn't.
If you played Shenmue 3, though, it feels like you're playing a game, like you're playing Shenmue 1, like you're playing a game from 1999 or something. It feels super, super archaic and like jarring in a sense where you're like, this is insane that they would even release a game with some of these mechanics.
Yeah.
Just because we're so far removed from that time period.
Yeah, like 20 years, basically.
I think if they remade it, they would have to change too much of what made Shenmue, and it would no longer be what it was, and it would kind of just be like a generic, like, Yakuza type, like, almost like a ripoff. Because I think if they remade it, it would just be like Yakuza, but like not as like gang.
Well, it's
gang
not open world
related.
either, though, right?
It is kind of open world.
Sort of.
Okay. For as much as they could back then.
It's like Yakuza and Shenmue are kind of like the same type of open world.
Yeah. And
Gotcha,
before we get
gotcha.
to you, Josh, I'm just going to say, and we've said it before, and we're going to say it again.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, check out the Shenmue anime
Show.
on Crunchyroll.
Oh, the anime, yeah, it's really good.
Fantastic.
No, I just want to say before I even get to mine, which I've been dying to do for like this entire month. I can't even fucking wait. No, it's okay. No. I wanted to say about Shenmue, Sony, props to them, man. $99.99. I know the whole story. They waited to drop that PS2 right on the Shenmue date and destroy Sega forever and ever. It's a sad truth, but yeah, that's
The Dreamcast is the most underrated console of all time.
It does. It still lives on in my heart, and in my heart, I'm still.
You had it been alive when it came out because it was a flash in the pan, but it was probably the greatest flash in the pan that we ever got.
Yeah,
100%. There was so many like classic games on the Dreamcast. I could do a whole podcast episode about Dreamcast games.
And there's a couple I'll talk about later on in the episode.
All right.
But
go ahead.
But now,
floor is yours, buddy.
Oh my! I'm just gonna get right to it. It was my number one. I want to get it off my chest and talk about it because this is a game that should have been in my top 10 NerdCage Welcome to the Cage video. I almost put it in. I couldn't do it because it aged so poorly. It's a game that I loved, a game that I was really good at, a game that I played on expert. I'm talking about Guitar Hero. Fucking Guitar Hero, mother truckers. It hasn't aged well. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't put it in my top 10, but I played so much Guitar Hero. 1, 2, 3. And I went to the mall. This is when I didn't have a car. I took the bus to get Rock the 80s, like the day of that it came out.
And Anthrax on it.
Yeah, loved Guitar Hero, but here we are. I even bought Guitar Hero Live in 2015, and I was hoping for the best, but nothing.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned. I feel like that was another like flash in the pan. There was a point in time where these rhythm games like DDR, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, it was all the rage, and now they're like dead.
Since you mentioned that, I will say I'll just put DDR in there too. We did used to go to the arcade, so those two big rhythm games. And I just was at the arcade. I was at round one. I visited my old place up in good old New York, upstate, and nobody was there. No kids after school dancing, stepping on the little pads. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a niche market that's playing DDR and Guitar Hero somewhere, but I don't see it, and they haven't made one since Guitar Hero Live, as far as I know.
All right. And what's your other game?
And DDR, those two. DDR, Guitar Hero.
Okay.
We'll talk about these. And there's other ones too, like the ones with the bongos. There's ones where you DJ and all this shit. All that's gone, in my opinion.
I'm kind of scared to go next. I'm not going to lie, because I know people are going to come at me. I just know it.
What are your thoughts on... Well, you said your thoughts, Jay, on that.
Well, yeah, I don't think those games are ever coming back. And
do you have your guitar still? I don't even have my guitars anymore.
I just think for good reason those are not coming back. I just feel like we're out of that age of. I think VR killed the rhythm games. But I'm not gonna lie to you. If I see a DDR machine, I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna record it and I'm gonna upload it on NerdCage because I want to know. I just want to know if I still got it at age 36. I want to know if 20 years later if I still got it. I just want to know. I just want to see if my coordination and my stamina and my timing is still there. I could go as high as, not expert, but like, okay, I can do expert, but not like the fast songs. If it's
I played expert on Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, oh man.
I was a beast, dude.
I was not that good, but I'll tell you what, if we played Rock Band, I fucking rocked the bass.
Alright, well, that's fine. Shaquille, sorry.
I personally love all of those games.
Okay.
I think the reason, I personally think that they aged well. I think the reason that you could say that they didn't age well is because of the proprietary like things that you need to play them in order to play them.
Yeah.
And 90% of people don't have that stuff, and it's like kind of like cumbersome to even hold on to that stuff because you just need a fake guitar to just that lays around. It's not a real guitar.
Right. You should remind me of another thing. I'm sorry, Rocksmith also.
That was the other one.
Yeah.
I personally love those games.
Okay.
I would love to see a new one, and I think they stay relevant and they age as well as the music and the soundtracks that are in them. So as long as you have good music and good music and good soundtracks, I think that they're still good games. And I think they did have pretty solid games, and especially DDR. I was like one of those weebs at the that used to have their arms on the back of the DDR machine. Oh yeah, I used to go to the arcade literally like every weekend with one of my childhood friends.
Like, I understand, like when that shit finally hit America, like it was like mind blowing. It was new, like wow, this is actually really cool. You know, like
I had DDR pads. I had the PS2 DDR game that you would plug into the controller. I'd be in my living room.
1 and 2.
Okay, I'm gonna put you to task though, Shaq. When was the last time?
When was the last time?
Yeah, either Guitar Hero or DDR that you put them in.
Like the actual games, or that I played them in general?
Yeah, you played them. Yeah, in general.
I attempted to play one in Anime NYC because they had imported DDR machines, but DDR machines that I'd never seen before. They had all these other like crazy. They had like diagonal steps and things. It was insane.
So maybe I'm wrong.
I was too like intimidated, so I was like, I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself because I haven't played DDR in like 15 years.
Okay,
I remember the Dirty Vegas and Afro Nova.
Oh yeah,
Captain Jack and all these other weird techno groups. These Japanese like, wow.
But there is DDR Revolution was the game on PS2 that I loved.
Yeah, I had the two. I had DDR Revolution 1 and 2.
Yeah, I
had the $99 phone pad. And my God, my parents would get so pissed off because I'd be playing it in my room and I'd be making all this noise. Like, yeah. But I had the time of my life playing it though, and like I said, I just want to know if I still got it. If I ever see one, I want to know if I still got it.
So I'm half right. I don't know. It seems like you guys are a little like, oh, you know, I would love for that to come back, but it's just not here.
I don't see, but that's the thing, I don't see it coming back. I just don't.
No.
I don't think it comes back either, but I still think that they're good games, and they're definitely like party games that if you had a pad and you broke it out at a party, everyone would be like, yo, let's play this shit. But if it's not like a game where it's
I don't know. I'd love to see. I don't know.
I think there's some games where it's like you break it out and you're like, dude, put that shit away. Like nobody wants to play that. But I think that's a game. Guitar Hero is the same thing. You break out Guitar Hero, somebody's gonna be like, I'm gonna do Through the Flyer and the Flames on Expert right now. And you're gonna try and do it.
Goddamn Dragon Force. All right, so I'm about to ruffle some feathers here. I'm actually kind of scared right now. You guys are not gonna like this, especially coming from me. So my first two games, Mortal Kombat 4 and Super Mario Brothers 3. I am sorry to say, Mario Brothers 3. Okay, listen, we just talked about how great Super Mario World is, not just visually, but how it controls and how it feels. Play Super Mario Brothers 3 now. I understand how big it was at the time, but my God, does it control like ass. It still looks good, especially for a Nintendo game. But the control is awful. The raccoon tail control mechanic is awful. Sorry, Super Mario Bros. 3. And and fuck those toad houses with the matching. You gotta match the moving picture. Fuck that shit. Super Mario Bros. 3, after playing it on Twitch with Joe, after playing Super Mario World, was such a step down. As far as Mortal Kombat 4 goes, feels great. Combos are great. The dialogue and voice acting is so bad it's great, but my God, is it ugly. It's fun to play, but my God, is Mortal Kombat 4 ugly.
Yeah. Do you want to go, Shaq, or you want me to go? Because I have...
I'll be brief. I personally, I think Super Mario 3 is probably aged the best graphically, I think, out of all the original Super Mario games.
Yeah.
I think 2 aged worse than all 3 of them, especially because 2, and I'm not talking Lost Levels, I'm talking like the American release of 2 that was really just like Doki Doki Panic. Yeah, that was Doki Doki Panic. I think that aged worse than all of them. I could see a lot of the mechanics in 3 being archaic and like how you navigate the world kind of being strange.
Yeah.
But I love that game personally.
I challenge anybody. For those who still love Mario 3, play it again. Tell me I'm wrong, because it doesn't feel. Because I think what it is I'm so used to playing Super Mario World, playing new Super Mario Brothers Wii U, Mario Maker, and I think we take for granted how smooth new Mario games are now.
Yeah.
Go back to Mario 3. It doesn't feel smooth at all. And then, like I said, Mortal Kombat 4 again, I love everything about Mortal Kombat 4, but it just looks terrible now. It does.
All right.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 4 definitely is horrible to this day still, I think.
I was going to put Mortal Kombat 4 on my list because that's the one where it's just like, first off, during that time period, and as far as Super Mario Brothers, so I'll just say briefly about that. I don't know shit about it other than the Wizard, which I used to love when I was 4 years old, and, it's iconic in that regard, like everybody always talks about 3. But Mortal Kombat 4, graphically, yeah, it's totally a mess. They tried their best with the 8-way run, but it's like the double tap up, I remember vaguely. I haven't played it in so long. It's just not good. And that was the time period where they came out with War Gods and the other weird one, where Midway was trying to branch out.
I mean, to give it credit, it is 60 frames per second. It runs smooth. It just looks really bad.
I used to destroy people with Tanya in that. That was my character.
I love Tanya. She got the boomerang. But Fujin's my guy. Fujin,
Tanya was
Tanya.
gross. Yeah.
I did not like Sub-Zero because...
And Quan Chi, of course, was really good in that one specifically. That was his first game,
Shout out to my buddy Toasty. That's his favorite character, but my God, Quan Chi's
that was his first game, was 4, was Quan Chi.
Well, technically it was Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, but yes, it was...
Okay.
4 was the first time he was playable.
Yeah, man, they were losing their focus a little bit. It sounds like... overall in that time period. And there were so many better fighters.
Well, it was rushed. Fun fact, Mortal Kombat 4 was rushed because they were trying to get it out on time because of Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Nothing to do with that other stuff, but do you remember those other terrible... I mean, listen, I did play War Gods and that other one that Midway came out with. What was the other one called?
I remember The Grid.
And there was whatever, and there was so many others, so they weren't focused on Mortal Kombat.
And of course,
at the time.
NFL Blitz came out. Like there was a lot. Of
no, it was called Mythic. It was. They were doing too much.
Gauntlet Legends, I think, came out.
Gauntlet Legends. That was. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That was just a shot in the dark.
That was all that time period. It's like, dude, you released that many games. Why didn't you focus on Mortal Kombat, your bread and butter, and make it stronger and better? But
no, I think it's absolutely fair. All right, so we'll go on to Joe's next 2 games here. Again, he says it's no particular order. But his next 2 is, I gotta ruffle some feathers here, Half-Life and the original Metal Gear. Not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear on NES.
I played that one. Half-Life, no, I don't know. But
I personally enjoy both of those games. I do see Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear, being extremely dated. Especially like the 2, and even Snake's Revenge, the second one on NES. But I think that was more so like a product of the time, because like if you look back, like more than half the catalog of the NES is like aged poorly. I feel like there's maybe a handful of games, maybe a little bit more, that are really, really good to this day still on the NES.
Yeah.
If you give it to like a little kid. Like, not somebody who's, like, played a lot of games but never really played anything from that era.
Yeah.
Right.
So I could definitely see the argument, though, because I think I remember if you died, you have to start all the way back from the beginning of the game. And also, I remember there being a part in the game...
A lot of these games didn't have game save, yeah.
There's also a part in the game I think I remember, because I remember it happened to me when I played it as a kid. I got to the end of the game, or close to the end, and there's 2 trucks that you have to get on that take you to like a separate part of the island, and if you get on the wrong truck, that truck brings you back to the beginning of the game. And if you didn't know that, and there's no clear delineation of which truck is which, you just have to get into a truck. And I remember I got into like the truck on the left or something, and it brought me all the way back to the beginning of the game. I was like, am I supposed to
That's the OG trolls, man, Nintendo. They loved
Yeah.
trolling
Yeah,
back then.
it was
Well, you gotta
definitely,
understand, at the time, there was all these third-party games that were just rushed and
Yeah.
licensed, and they didn't give a
Uh-huh.
shit. That was it.
And what was the other game that was on there again?
Half-Life.
Half-Life.
I see somebody in the chat.
Half-Life.
Shout out to Chala Juzali. Says that that person agrees that the original Half-Life is aged bad.
I think Half-Life the original Half-Life definitely did not age well. I think Half-Life 2 aged really well still. The original one though is very rough to this day. But I think the original Half-Life is probably like top 5 most important video games I think ever made.
Yeah.
Even if though it's aged badly, I think it's in the top 5 most important games ever made.
I wasn't gonna mention it, but only because you said it, we wouldn't have this baby.
Oh
Wouldn't
yeah,
have this baby.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Come up, Steam Deck's up. Steam Deck's up. No, it's
Mine's
all
in the other
It's
room.
all good. All good.
I would have brought mine up in solidarity.
But just because it did launch, obviously, like made Gabe Newell a billionaire and Steam, and we got the greatest thing ever, it doesn't mean that the game itself didn't age poorly. It's like, okay, you got good things out of it, but, it's just still didn't age. I don't know shit about it, though. I never played
All right, Shaq, what's your next two?
Oh, sorry. Go.
I like last week. I have just a giant list of games that I compiled. So I don't have an order. I'm just gonna pull 2 off here.
Okay.
Nice.
I think personally, I'm gonna put a game from this console generation in there because this is another console generation where I think almost 90% of the games did not age well, especially because it has a very small amount of games in its lifespan, and it's the N64. The N64 only has 250 games in its like entire catalog, and I think like more than half of them age poorly because of like the controller itself, and the like there was the beginning of like that 3D polygonal like 64-bit. It just a lot of the games age really poorly, and this is going to be a hot take.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time aged horribly.
Oh. I want to know what Joe of FallenOne Gaming thinks as he just played it for the first time. I can understand. I don't think so, but I understand where you're coming from. I think, narratively speaking, it's amazing. I think some of the mechanics are a little frustrating. The Z targeting can be a little wonky. There's no jump button. You gotta like run and like. I think the one thing that did age, though, in particular, is when you go into the water temple and you gotta keep switching
Water
to
temple
the
is
metal boots.
Water temple, I think, is one of the worst levels and poorly designed levels in gaming history.
I don't think it was poorly designed. It was just more so you had to keep switching to the metal boots constantly. And it was
hey, Shaq, it ain't worse than the turtles and their seaweed. Come on, man.
But I still like the game, but I understand where you're coming from, though. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I understand. I still like the game, but I will say this though. I'll say it again. Link to the Past has aged better. So
I agree. I think Link to the Past aged better too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ocarina of Time, I have a lot of reverence for that game. I think it's also a very important game that came out, but looking back, it's not very good. Like when I replayed it, I didn't enjoy it as much as like some of the other Zelda games that I played, from like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, Twilight Princess. I didn't enjoy it as much as those games, and I know those aren't the games that like people consider to be like the best Zelda games. And then the second game that I have on my list is Abe's Oddysee.
Okay.
Oh,
PS1.
okay. Now, didn't they just remake it?
I don't know if it's a remake. I think it's like a new one.
Okay.
I haven't
played that game in so long, so I barely remember it.
Same. Yeah.
I mean, I know what it is. I know what Oddworld is. It's just been very, very.
Oh yeah, it's a really popular franchise. But the original Abe's Oddysee on the PS1 is really bad. Really bad. Like I remember there's no like save states at any point. Like you can't really save. Only at certain points. I think you can only save at certain points in the game. you kind of have to replay the same levels like over and over and over again to even like get anywhere and progress. It's a very like it's a game that's like difficult for the sake of being difficult, and it's like almost like a frustrating experience to play that I think like would push a lot of people away. Because I remember, I think it was on the PlayStation Mini when that whole like mini console phase was happening.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it again on there for the first time since I played it as a kid.
Do it.
And I was like, man, this game fucking sucks. Like,
I know the feeling, trust me.
Well, I will just say, like, one of my criteria for that, Abe's Oddysee definitely meets, which is like, they clearly haven't, I mean, well, Jay, you said that they made one, but I haven't seen Abe or him being like a mainstay like Spyro or like the ones that we all know.
Crash,
like Ratchet
Spyro.
Clank, Crash, Spyro. They've done games for them. They haven't made one for Abe. But they don't give a fuck about that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
it's such a niche franchise, too, to begin with. So, like, it's like one of those things where it's like, you either love it or you hate it. And
I think the game, honestly, looking back, no, like I said, I haven't played it, but I think this game, kind of like tagging on to what Josh said, I think it was just overshadowed by Crash, Lara Croft, and so on and so forth.
Oh,
They came
yeah.
out around the same time.
Yeah.
All right, that being said, Josh, what are your next two games?
Alrighty. Alright, let me ruffle a little bit of feathers here for all
That's
our...
what we're here to do. It's the Nerd Cage, Rage in the Cage. Let's go.
Pokemon fans out
Don't you
there,
dare.
Pokemon fans. What the fuck was Pokemon Snap? The point of it? Like,
Thank
I remember
you.
playing it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap, you go around and take pictures of Pokemon. No. Like, I want to play Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I remember, like, all that time you spent with the pictures and getting them, you wasted your time. At least
Yeah, I
play
think you had to
Pokemon,
hook up
you
the
get
camera to the N64 controller.
the camera, another peripheral. So, yeah. Not my thing. So, I know that some people might hold in reverence, but they don't do that anymore, like Pokemon Snap. They'll make
Honestly, when I
Pokemon games.
remember when that game came
Didn't
out,
they
even the
remake
Pokemon
it?
fans didn't like
Did
it
they
because they all
remake
wanted,
it?
they're all waiting for Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, for like Switch or something?
Yeah, like recently,
Well,
they've made another one.
Because they'll do anything on Switch.
Remasters, remakes, and what's the...
Yeah, but
what's your-
remaster, remakes, and something else I put. I don't even have my sheet.
Report.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, that's one, and it's like, who has the camera still? Like, I don't know, it's silly. And then speaking of that, since we're talking about peripherals, because that's a big thing. Like, you have this peripheral that you bought.
Yeah.
It was a waste of money. Seems to be the theme of my night. I'm going to say a Dreamcast game. This is what I was talking about.
Okay.
Seaman.
I still have it.
All right.
Still have
I
it.
know what it is because I've seen all the videos on the internet, but I've never played it.
I have it
No,
and the
no.
microphone.
When we talk about Dreamcast, we talk about Soul Calibur, we're talking about fucking Shenmue, we're
Marvel
talking
vs.
about
Capcom.
Crazy Taxi, Marvel vs. Capcom, all that. When the fuck does anybody talk about Seaman? Ever. And like with great reference, like, oh, I loved making my guy, and you have it, Shaq, so what are your thoughts on that?
It's a terrible game. in its roots, I think it's an experience, though. I think it's a terrible game because you don't really play it. You kind of sit there and, like, it's like talking to an AI almost, but a very primitive AI that, like, it's kind of like, it's more of an experience than a game, and I think you have to have a desire to really, like, want to experience it to even play it.
Yeah.
Because after, like, I went back and tried to play, because I still have all my old Dreamcast games and my Dreamcast, and I remember it blowing up on the internet, and I was like, and a lot of those Dreamcast games were also for my brother too, so, like, I still have all those old games, and I remember playing it when we were younger, and when it blew up on the internet, I was like, I think I have that game. I remember playing that game, and then I looked through my catalog, and I was like, oh, I still do.
Right.
And then I put it in my Dreamcast and started playing it again, and I was like, you know, this game kind of is terrible. Like,
You're playing it ironically.
Yeah, I started playing it ironically
because you
all
went and
these
watched
people were talking about it.
AVGN or something like, oh, isn't that so stupid? But yeah, it was a big deal. Oh, you gotta go buy the thing. And
The thing is, the Sega Dreamcast was so ahead of its time, and they were so ambitious. But this is one of those cases where they were too ambitious for their own good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chala in the chat said Seaman is like Chat GPT version. Like that's
Well,
literally
think about
what it is.
Yeah, when we're talking about things that have aged poorly, look at what we can do. Remember, Jay, all those pictures I made with the AI mid-journey?
Yeah.
Like, you tell it to do something. Dude, that's like...
Chat GPT is crazy, too.
But R.I.P. Leonard Nimoy, though. I will say that. Shout out,
Leonard
Nimoy. Yeah, he was the voice of
Seaman. Yeah, he was the voice actor, yeah.
He was the voice of Seaman, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a weird game. It's like an experience. It's something that, like, you show somebody as like a circus act almost. Like, yo, look at this weird ass shit.
Yeah.
And then you guys sit there and laugh about it. And then it's like, you keep playing it to see what happens. Like, the curiosity. You're like, what is this thing going to say next? What is it going to do next? But it's not like an actual
Could you
game.
imagine well, you already did. I was going to say, could you imagine spending your hard-earned money on that? Like, that's the game you got. The one game.
I didn't spend it. My parents.
Or whatever you did. That's what I mean, though. It's like, you could
I feel bad for them.
Radio instead or something. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you made that mistake as a kid to your parents, say, hey, get me Seaman instead of
I didn't make it.
Sonic Adventure. That's, you shit the bed.
Yeah.
On the gravestone of Leonard Nimoy says, "Here lies Leonard Nimoy, the man that voiced Seaman." All right, Josh. What are your next two games?
You want two more? I just gave you two.
Oh, okay. So it's my turn. I'm sorry.
I'll do it and go again.
Oh no! It's my turn. I'm sorry. I thought I was
confused. The brain fart.
Because Shaq was so like adamant about Seaman. I was thinking, oh yeah. Okay, so my next two. Okay, wow. See, this is the second time I did the same thing last week. All right. Oh man, y'all gonna come at me again. Metal Gear Solid 1 and Super Mario 64.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
I just played Metal Gear Solid for the first time on Twitch last year. I had fun. And I thought the narrative was great, the characters were great, the dialogue was great. But my God, was the controls awful. The controls of Metal Gear Solid, now, Metal Gear Solid 2, controls were great. Well, not great, but much, much, much better. The controls of Metal Gear Solid are awful. Super Mario 64, kind of the opposite. I think it controls pretty good. I just don't like moving the Lakitu camera, but my God, does it look awful. It looks awful, and some of the level designs I do not like. And also, I hate completing the game. Because to me, getting the 100 coins in each level is not fun. The red coins, kind of annoying. But the thing is, when you get all 120 stars, there's no payoff. There's no, nothing extra. There are some great aspects of it, but man, play Super Mario 64 again. Look at the picture in the thumbnail. It's bad. I'm sorry. Come at me. What do you guys think of these two?
I think Super Mario 64 was another one of those games that I would put on that list of most important games ever made. It's up there with Half-Life.
Yeah.
And I also would put Metal Gear Solid 1 on there as well. I personally love Metal Gear Solid, and I think it aged. I think all the Metal Gear Solid games, unless you're playing a Metal Gear Solid game, the controls innately aren't very ergonomically designed, or intuitively designed is a better word. Because I just replayed all of Metal Gear Solid 2 on my Twitch channel recently, and I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid 2 since the PS2 when I was a kid, and I was even having trouble getting adjusted to the controls because they're not your normal controls that you would find in a game.
Yeah.
It just, once you get used to them, and you're like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. But in terms of narrative, storytelling, world building, all that stuff, Metal Gear Solid is amazing still to this day.
I 100% agree. I had the time of my life playing it on Twitch, and that's how we met, was Metal Gear Solid, but those games, narrative, top notch. May be the best narrative in any game I've ever played. Honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely up there, especially Metal Gear Solid 2. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is a top 3 video game ever made in terms of narrative.
Yep, Joe would definitely agree with that.
And Super Mario 64, I love Super Mario 64. I have a reverence for it, but that's also looking at it through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
I think if I remove those glasses, it is it did age very, very poorly. I think it had the same issue that a lot of those collectathon games from that era had.
Yeah.
Like Banjo-Kazooie. I fucking despised that game as an adult. As a kid, I loved it. As an adult, I hate it.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64 was also terrible.
We just completed it right before we played Metal Gear Solid 2, Shaq. We completed all 201 bananas.
That game is an abomination.
Oh my god! Like there are some aspects of it I liked though, but my god, it was a lot of shit to collect. But we fucking did it. It took us 5 fucking streams, but we did it. And before we get into Josh, before you give your thoughts, man, I'm just gonna say, I will admit, the very first time playing Super Mario 64, when I was 10, my mind was blown.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible. I will say this. There's 2 points in my life where my mind was just blown. Donkey Kong Country for the first time, and Mario 64 for the first time. I never had a feeling like that ever since. But Donkey Kong Country has aged well. Mario 64 has not. Josh, what do you got?
I agree.
I'm just gonna be like Steve Nash to Shaq's Dirk, man. Just taking the assist and aping off kind of what you said about, like you said, Metal Gear Solid would be like top 3 narratively, but like we're talking about games that have aged poorly. So like, look at all these games with great narratives, The Last of Us, and The Horizon, and all these games. Would you compare that to like games of today? That's what I would say, where it would age poorly, or would you say it would hold up to that even?
In terms of narrative, I definitely think it holds up, if not better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, especially, dude, like Hideo Kojima like predicts the future in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I'm only 2 games in. And I agree with
2000.
He like actual future.
Yeah.
He predicts like AI and everything basically like taking over.
Okay.
All this stuff. Like you should really play it. If not, there's like you can watch the whole.
You can watch us on Twitch, Josh.
I'm gonna do that, instead. Speaking of which, and then OJ, I'll ask you about it. The camera angles you said are an issue, like the fixed camera. I feel like that's gonna be a recurring theme with those PS1 games because there's definitely one on my list where I tried to play and it's just like, what is this? Why don't we have?
Yeah, because the problem is like the basic problem is that there's a fixed camera and then you're trying to like slide against the wall. Like it can be.
Yeah, I need to see in front of me.
Like when you're trying to like avoid like the camera security cameras and the camera angles is not in your favor, and
you wish that the right joystick would help me so I can see something going on. Like I got you. And then at Mario 64, that was a launch title, right?
Yes.
Dude, you've had so many predecessors that have made you not want to play. I'm sure you'd probably rather play Mario Odyssey than Super Mario 64 like any day of the week.
Honestly, I'd rather play Mario 64 over goddamn Mario Sunshine. I hated Mario Sunshine, but Mario Odyssey and Mario Galaxy, way better. But I'm more of I prefer 2D Mario. But when it comes to 3D Mario Odyssey, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
All right, Josh, go ahead. What are your next 2?
Alrighty, let's see.
Actually, wait. No, is it Shaq?
Oh yes.
No, I just went. Yeah, so Shaq. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq.
Sorry.
I have a lot. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of games from the N64 on my list.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try and avoid some of them.
Okay.
I'll throw one on there.
Okay.
I think Turok aged horribly.
Yeah.
They just re-released it on the Switch. Both of them.
Yeah, I think they aged horrifically. And then another game is... I'll go a little bit more modern from... Oh no, I can't include this because this wasn't original Xbox. This was Xbox 360, so I'll remove that. I'll remove that.
We got a big list, so go ahead.
I'll say the other one is Duke Nukem. Both of those games aged poorly. Turok and Duke Nukem. And they were both
are good
on
ones.
The N64.
I think Duke Nukem would get canceled today, but we're talking more than just.
Yeah. The only reason why I would say no is because GTA exists. And that's way more crazy, where you can kill prostitutes and strippers and stuff, like run them over with your car. So I don't know, but maybe Duke Nukem just Conquer too. I'm sure that's on your playlist too, is Conquer. But What was the first one? I'm sorry. Turok.
Turok.
Dude, what's up with the Z button? Terrible. So stupid.
Yeah.
The controls, like... So the remaster you said on the Switch, Jay, I'm sure it's, like, remastered to have controls that make sense. Like, the N64 is one of the worst controllers of all time.
100%.
And to me, the GameCube is a close second. Sorry, Jay. I'm just saying...
I'm not mad at that.
No, why does it look like the solar system? Giant button in the middle, little thing around it in orbit, and then 2 like satellites. It doesn't make any sense, like the way that they designed.
Also, I actually hold the controller with like this, not like this. That's just me.
Oh yeah, okay.
'Cause I got big hands. I got a long ass thumb, so my thumb can actually reach the joystick when I have my hand up here.
Okay.
Yeah, but then what about the Z button?
Yeah, I don't know what
The
you're
Z
talking
button,
about.
it's like my fingers like underneath it. Like
I don't
that.
want to know what's tapping that. Turok though, yeah, it blows. I remember I had it, and they made 4 of them.
As a kid, it was great.
Split screen, you know, because they didn't have online, so you're fucking playing on 4 different screens. That's kind of
On
irritating.
paper, though, you're hunting dinosaurs. Like that should be a surefire thing.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a long time, so I don't know.
It was like the precursor, I think, the game that's most reminiscent of it for me in modern days. And they actually made a DLC that reminded me a lot of Turok. Is Far Cry. Like the Far Cry games. I think it was Far Cry 3. And then they had that weird 80s like dinosaur DLC where like...
I thought you were going to say just straight up Horizon, because that's like dinosaur... or Ark or whatever. There's a lot of
degree, yeah, Ark a little bit. Yeah, Ark has a definitely a Turok feel. But like, if you go back and graphically, it's terrible. Mechanically, it's terrible. It's not a good game.
Duke Nukem was a mess, though, wasn't it? Like I watched the Matt McMuscles thing about that. It was like a mess to get it out, and it took like 12 years or 13 years. So it must have been towards the end of the life cycle of the. Or no, am I thinking of Duke Nukem Forever?
I think you're Duke Nukem Forever. Yeah, that was like
that's not
20 years or something.
Oh, okay.
No.
I think that's like one of the most delayed games ever made that actually got a release.
There's a bunch of like Duke Nukem games. I personally love the Duke Nukem games. Like I said earlier at the beginning of this, a lot of the games on my list I personally love. I just know that they're bad games.
Yeah.
And Duke Nukem, I love Duke Nukem. I still have the Duke Nukem 64 cartridge. But I think any iteration of Duke Nukem is just not a very good game because there's not much of a story. It's more so just like a timepiece that uses a bunch of like 80s cliches, and if you were born in like 2001 or whatever, you're gonna be like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. This is like a cheesy, corny game that is like a mediocre shooter too.
Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky joke, like
yeah. It's like insert 80s random 80s quote.
Wow.
All right, Josh, go ahead now. Go ahead.
You know what? Here, I'll do you one better. I don't know if this is fair, Jay. Can I name 2 consoles? Is that fair? Because no, they're definitely not on your list.
All right, that's fine.
The Virtual Boy and the fucking R-Zone.
I don't even know what the fuck R-Zone is, but Virtual Boy.
I begged for it for Christmas. It was the shit that you put
that was
on your
a mistake.
eye. I know, and I did eventually get my hands on a Virtual Boy when I had my collection. Holy shit, dude. Like, because it only has 8 games, so basically it has 1 game.
I just feel like the Virtual Boy was the cause for Cyclops' mutation from X-Men.
Yeah. No, it's totally the punch zone or whatever. No, it looks terrible. You needed a giant plug to plug it in. Thank God I sold it for more than I'd paid for it, but...
Good for you!
No, it was a fucking mess. And the R-Zone. Come on, man. Like, how is that? How are these 2 consoles virtual reality? There's nothing real about them. They were this red isotrope.
Oh, my God. It looked fucking awful.
It looked awful, and you had one thing in your eye.
I couldn't even last like 2
like
or
a
3
Saiyan
minutes.
Scouter.
Like, for real. Like,
Totally.
I didn't even last like 2 minutes playing it.
I was gonna replace it if you said no, but the consoles. But I want to talk about
No.
those because
I'm glad you did. You did sidestep, but I'll take it. Those are actually good.
No, because so did you have either of you have experience with those?
Virtual Boy.
They were really bad. I think what is the game? Wario Land, I think, is the game on there.
Yes.
Yeah, there was Wario. There was tennis.
I think Wario was actually a solid game on the Virtual Boy, but everything else, I think, other than was Tetris on there too?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
I think it was like Tetris and Wario were the only two good games on there. Everything else was like just horrifically bad.
By everything else, there's only like 5 of the games.
Yeah,
you know what the most expensive game is for that?
What?
Waterworld. That fucking Waterworld. It's like thousands of dollars. Like
based on the movie?
Based on the movie.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I looked it up when I had I was like, oh, what's the games? And it's like Waterworld was like $3,000 or something stupid like that.
Good luck for the retro collectors out there.
Around that time, as a kid, I remember, I think I did the same thing that you did and asked for like a Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
And I got like a bootleg Virtual Boy from my parents that was like a helmet that you like put on your head.
Oh,
was that like from Tiger Electronics?
I think it was Tiger Electronic. No,
that's Arzo.
Arzo was just one thing, like a Saiyan
Yeah, that's
Scouter.
what I had. Yeah.
But this was like a helmet that you put on.
Yeah, and I think it was from
and
Tiger.
You could plug certain controllers into it, and there was a controller that was a baseball bat. And the game, it was like almost like a Tiger game. Like it was like a really poorly read isotropic thing of a guy throwing like a baseball.
Somebody in the comment section, if they watch this replay, let us know what the hell that was.
And my point, let me get to the point of this though, because thank God for even Mark Zuckerberg, whatever, man, the Oculus and what we have with VR now, that's real virtual reality. And you can see like they tricked us as a kid, you know what I mean? So very poorly aged VR. It could have been better.
Start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and it reminds me of Lawnmower Man and these terrible movies that were VR, virtual reality, that didn't age well either. Yeah.
All right. Going back to Joe's list, and I'm sorry, I kind of skipped the not skipped, because it doesn't really change anything.
You do 4 games for Joe?
So Joe's next 2 he has here. Okay, one I have not played, one I definitely played and remember. He's got Parasite Eve and Max Payne 1. I definitely agree with Max Payne. That definitely... Honestly, I didn't even like Max Payne when it came out, if I want the honest truth. Parasite Eve I've never played, so what do you guys got?
Parasite Eve I did play, and I think I tried to play it recently, like a year ago, and looked and saw that graphically, man, it looks so unplayable, so bad looking. But I'm shocked that's on Joe's list, because I thought that he liked it, but... and then, what was the other one?
Max Payne.
Max Payne? No idea. I know the movie was bad. That's it. That's all I know.
I have
never
Max
liked
Payne
it.
on my list. I even though I love Max Payne, it's like one of my favorite games as a kid. I remember playing it on the PS2 over and over again. The bullet time, I fucking love Max Payne, but it did age very poorly. Graphically, it's terrible. It's just like a picture of a guy's face, like.
Oh, bullet time! I remember this now.
Yeah,
the
invented
slow
bullet
motion
time.
shit.
I love Max Payne still to this day, and I think the way that it was kind of like the narration is almost like a comic book.
Yeah, it was
it's noir, right?
It's like a comic book. It's like a noir comic book, and I think it's I still think it's really good in a lot of aspects, but I could definitely see how it aged very poorly. I think it deserves like a well done remake. And I think you're either in the camp where you think it's like, I think it aged poorly or it aged great.
Because it's kind of like Shenmue, because it's unique for its time.
Well, was it more narrative driven or gameplay driven?
It was a balance.
It was,
okay,
yeah,
so
I think it's fair to say.
Well, at least that's good. At least it was balanced, whereas opposed to now where it's mostly narrative.
It never worked for me, personally.
Okay.
I definitely loved the narration of it, how it was very like noir, like hard-boiled cop, like monologues, and him like kind of explaining what's going on in like a super gritty detective-like tone. And then you'd like walk into a room and there'd be a bunch of guys standing there, and you just
it was definitely like
Frank
Frank Miller inspired for sure.
Yes, it was like Sin City, it was like you're playing Sin City, you walk into a room and there's a guy standing there, and then you go into bullet time and you're diving across the room and you're just blowing them all away. It's like it's fun, but like, it can get definitely repetitive.
It was the first game, I think this was before the Enter the Matrix. I think this was the first game that did the slow motion.
Yes, bullet time comes from Max Payne.
Yeah, so that's the one thing you gotta give it credit for, but just like I said, it's definitely age. Okay, so I'll go back to my two next. You guys are not gonna like this. You're gonna come at me again. Legend of Zelda Majora's fucking Mask. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. I'm just strictly speaking graphically. There's a reason why there's a remake. I'm just speaking graphically.
Okay, all right.
Majora's Mask. If you think Ocarina of Time aged bad, Majora's Mask aged a lot worse. And there's 3 Zelda games I hate. There's a trilogy of Zelda games I hate, and I'm a Zelda fan. Majora's Mask, Adventure of Link, Skyward Sword is like the trilogy of Zelda garbage.
The trifecta.
But Majora's Mask is the worst of the 3.
You love the CDI games, though, right? Like the ones.
I pretend those don't exist. I pretend
Link's Missing or whatever it is.
I don't know what they're called, but I
just pretend those didn't exist. That and I never had a Sony CDI.
No, I never did either. I looked for one. I couldn't find it.
Yeah. But man, as far as like the mainstream Zelda timeline goes, I'm sorry. Skyward Sword looks great, but has the jagged motion control bullshit. Adventure of Link, I'm sorry, side scroller bullshit doesn't work. It worked in the Game Boy version, but not like the whole game. But Majora's fucking Mask. It looks awful. It feels awful. I hate rewinding time so much. It's not fun. The controls are just janky, especially when you do the transformations. Majora's Mask is fucking garbage. I'm sorry. I hate that game, and it's aged bad. I'm sorry. I like Ocarina of Time. I can see where Shaq's coming from, where that's aged, but Majora's Mask has aged worse than Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't play much of Majora's Mask, but I don't think any of the Zelda games on the N64 aged well.
Man. Yeah.
You said you didn't play Twilight Princess, right? Last week?
No, I played Twilight Princess.
Oh, okay.
I love Twilight Princess.
I think Twilight Princess is
phenomenal. The one I did not play is Link Between Two Worlds, because I never had a Nintendo DS.
Oh, yes.
I want to play it badly, because I heard it's like a direct sequel to Link to the Past, so I really want to play it.
What was the other game you mentioned?
Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII. I'm just speaking graphically.
I agree with that.
It doesn't look good at all. I'm sorry.
It's very, very bad.
All right, so it doesn't seem like a two-way conversation. I'm going to say a little bit about Zelda. One, out of respect for Shaq, I did start playing, I think it was Twilight Princess with the horse. Started playing that. It's all right. It's pretty cool.
I love Twilight Princess. My only problem with Twilight Princess is it takes too long to get started.
But man, we are killing the N64 as much as this beloved system. We got Majora's Mask on there. We got the other one.
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap, yeah. Turok,
Super Mario 64.
But,
I'm not done with the N64. I got
It's funny that you guys both who are big Zelda people, well, maybe you're not as much of a big Zelda guy as Shaq, but, that's interesting that you put that. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about Final Fantasy VII, because last week it was on my list. So the reason why is because of gameplay. You said graphically.
I'm strictly graphics.
But the thing I have to say about that is it doesn't need to age well graphically, because the whole point of that type of game is just turn-based combat. That's why you're able to play Pokemon Red and Blue. And I don't really care what the graphics look like. I just want to know what the results of my combat and the gameplay itself were. Though it did get a remaster, so that was my reason.
There's a reason for that, so...
I understand, so... All right, that's fair. I mean, you say
no hard feelings.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I won't die on that hill.
I'm laughing at the chat because Mr. Scott in the chat is just screaming at me. Every game I mentioned, he's screaming at me, and I'm loving it. So
I definitely agree with the Final Fantasy VII take. I agree with both of you guys, both of your takes.
Mm-hmm.
I think graphically it aged really, really poorly. I think it looks horrible. Aside from like the CGI cutscenes, I think if it's not a CGI cutscene, it looks terrible. And even still, those CGI cutscenes aren't great.
Sure.
But I'm also in the camp where I don't care about graphics, but I know a lot of people care about graphics, and they would immediately be turned off if they were trying to play it for the first time and be like, I don't really, this game just kind of looks like shit.
But specifically for RPGs that are turn-based.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not like a fighting game where it's like, oh, I really need to like see the visual, or a racing game, or any of that. It's like turn-based, and honestly, I'm going to say this, and Pretty Guardian, I know she's not here, but whatever, she'd be agreeing with me. This is the reason why the Switch has all these JRPGs, because it can't handle
Oh, yeah.
It can't handle anything hard graphically, so it's like, I have a bunch of fucking 2D JRPGs on there, turn-based. I don't give a fuck. I'll play it all.
Live Alive, whatever that old
Live Alive.
But you'll buy it and you'll play
Alive,
it if you're into that stuff. You'll buy it.
Yeah, because Live Alive never got a proper American release. That's why there was like the hype and rage about it.
Sure.
All right, Shaq. What are your next two here?
My next two, I actually think Final Fantasy VIII aged horrifically, not only graphically, but gameplay-wise. I think it's horrible. I think that's the worst, one of the worst modern Final Fantasies, or semi-modern Final Fantasies we've had. Especially it's the worst on the PlayStation. 7 and 9 are the leaps and bounds better than it. And another game that's probably going to ruffle some feathers. And this goes for all of them. Not just the original.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going somewhere else. Okay.
All of them. But the worst being the original. Star Fox. Star Fox aged horribly.
I'm going to hold my thoughts for later.
No, you can say them. I don't know shit about Star Fox. How many are there? There's a bunch of them?
There's Star Fox.
There is 4. There's 1, 2, N64, and 0. Oh, and Adventures.
0 was
5.
on GameCube?
So 5.
Which one was on GameCube?
Adventures. Star Fox Adventures was on GameCube.
I liked
Star Fox
Adventures.
0 was on the Wii U. And Star Fox 64, obviously. And then 1 and 2 were on Super Nintendo. Alright, I'll get right into it just to save us some time. Star Fox is my number 1.
Oh, okay.
Just to save us time, Star Fox is my absolute number 1. Now, I will admit, I loved the game as a kid growing up. Oh, Wolf. Buzz, your girlfriend, Wolf. Oh, God, it's so bad now.
Yeah, it's an abomination.
Just looking at it is fucking cringe. Ooh.
Especially from the SNES, like the Super Nintendo, it is like vomit. It's like it's terrible. It's
now,
just
I haven't played
shapes.
Star Fox 64 in a long time, so I don't know, but I will say Star Fox 1. And I did play Star Fox 2 because it's on that SNES.
Yes, yeah, I played both.
Oh man,
it was Star Fox 1, Star Fox 2, Star Fox 64 are all terrible. I think GameCube Adventures was really good. I liked Adventures, but everything prior to that, I think is aged horribly.
I'm not gonna argue. Like I said, I haven't played 64 in a while, but man, I will. Like I said, I think Star Fox is the worst aged game. And as far as mainstream video games goes, I think it's still aged the worst. In every aspect.
It's definitely a game. If you played it as a kid, you loved it. If you gave it to like somebody now,
I grew up like I was like.
Give it to Josh, the Nintendo noob that knows nothing about.
Oh, you'll hate it. You'll hate it.
I probably will. I did like the Twilight Princess thing you said. That I started to like that. That was kind of cool. But so it sounds like you guys also wouldn't recommend me going back and playing those Majora's Mask and the other one.
I think
Ocarina
of Time is worth going back to. Just be prepared that it's. Some of it's
and Shaq, you don't. So okay. So that I'll go.
I would recommend doing Star Fox so you could see how bad it is now.
Yeah.
Because you played a lot of other video games.
Super Nintendo, yep.
Man.
So that you can just sit there and be like, dude, what the fuck is this?
How did he become this beloved character on Smash Brothers and stuff? You know, like
it was Smash Brothers.
That was just it.
Yeah.
Like he was just thrown on.
Yeah.
Star Fox, you don't play as Star Fox. You play in the ship. It's like Star Wars. You're in a spaceship shooting stuff. You don't actually play as the character Star Fox.
That's why I assumed it's like a space shooter. Like
so when they put him on Smash Brothers in 1999, when they put him on Smash Brothers, they made up everything for him, like his charge dash, his laser gun, all that shit was made up, and then they adopted some of it for Adventures, because Adventures was both like you do the spaceship thing and you do like the ground like platforming thing.
Shaquille, what was the first game you said? I don't fucking remember. You guys were talking to Star Fox. I don't remember.
I said Star Fox and Final Fantasy VIII.
Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, that's the one with the cards. That I was right. Is that the card game one? Or no,
I think there's a card game in 8 and 9.
Oh, okay.
I know 9 specifically has a card game, but I feel like there was also a card game in 8. 8 is the one with like the junctioning system, where like all the characters are almost like realistic and they're like tall. They're not like these like scrunched up little characters. And it's like super emo and like edgy, and like the story goes nowhere.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
The combat system is terrible. It's the best character in the game is in the game for like the least amount of time. Because like there's a point where like you play as a different character who's almost like an alter, like different dimension version of the main character. I can't remember his name. But he's like the best character in the game probably, and you only play as him for maybe like an hour of the game, and then you go back to playing as Squall, and the game just it sucked, man. The game is like a solid like 5 out of 10.
Okay, so I'll stay away from that one after.
But I know a lot of people love it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Josh.
Jay, you didn't play Final Fantasy. You didn't play any of these fucking games, right?
I played them with Joe back in the day.
Okay. All right, let's see. All right, I have to put one fighter on here. It's the one that I don't play. I play all these fighting games except Primal Rage. I never fucking... You got Primal Rage on there?
No, actually, I like Primal Rage.
No, it's just the way it looks, the sound design.
I like the look. The problem with Primal Rage is the special move mechanics where you gotta hold the buttons.
Terrible.
And then you move the joystick. I hate that.
The fatalities are awful too. You like to do them. They're like almost impossible.
I think Primal Rage is fucking awesome, man. The stop motion dinosaurs look fucking great.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm not into that. And then I guess another one
I think if you want to make
fair.
the argument, it's the special move mechanics I did not like.
I don't like the look of that style. But also Medal of Honor, I was gonna say, definitely one that hasn't aged well, and it's very clear because all these other franchises that
it got buried by Call of Duty quick.
Totally, absolutely. I remember it was such a big deal to play Medal of Honor. Like, oh, well, any play we used to talk about it at school. Now it's like, why would I play that? You know.
I feel like Call of Duty, like before they made it, they just looked at Medal of Honor and be like, we can make it better.
Yeah, but even other games at the time, you know, when I mean, buried it. Shaquille, thoughts on either of those?
Chala in the chat said exactly what I was gonna say. I completely forgot Primal Rage existed, and I had to literally in my head when you said Primal Rage.
Not Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar is great.
When you said Primal Rage, for some reason the game Rampage popped into my head.
Rampage is great.
And I was like,
I love Rampage.
And then I had to look it up, and I was like, holy shit, I forgot this game existed. And even as a kid, I didn't really like that game. I thought it was kind of like bad as a kid.
So here's another adult thing too, Jay. I will say this. I don't know if you did this, but when I was collecting as an adult, I did have a 32X. It's the worst thing ever. It doesn't work. The 32X version. It's like unplayable.
So I recently played Primal Rage on Twitch, right? I have it on my Midway Arcade Treasures on PS2. So I actually have the arcade version. We played it on Twitch and I had fun.
Maybe it's better on PS2. Like maybe they remaster some of the controls
it's the arcade.
Or some shit.
It's the arcade port.
Oh, the arcade port. Yeah. Okay. But even you said there's some caveats where you're like, this is like the special moves you don't like.
Yeah, because you have to hold down the attack buttons and then move the joystick. You know how like in Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you did directional hit the button?
Yeah.
Primal Rage is the opposite. You hold the button down and then you move in the direction.
It's just generic dinosaurs. They're fucking dinosaurs.
Come on, I love Blizzard and I love Diablo.
It's fair. It's fair.
I love Bottle Snowman, King Kong. It's awesome.
Medal of Honor, Shaquille.
Oh, Medal of Honor is just like the redheaded stepchild of first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I think for a time, yes, for a time, I think it was on the PlayStation 1 and the PS2.
Yes. Well, and PC.
Medal of Honor dominated.
Yeah.
And that game was, the Medal of Honor games were great, and they were like the industry standard for like war shooters.
Yeah.
Console war shooters.
Yeah.
Because online you had like Day of Defeat and you had other games on PC that were dramatically better.
Counter-Strike came a little later, I think, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't like that was more like a modern war shooter. But like
SOCOM.
Yeah, like Medal of Honor, like the World War II shooters, World War I shooters, things like that. Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Day of Defeat. Trying to think of what else. I know there was more, but that for the time, the PS1 and PS2 era, Medal of Honor dominated, and they were great for that time. But they did age terribly to the point that like they don't even make them anymore. I don't think because there's no market.
Yeah.
It's like 15 people in the world would probably buy a Medal of Honor game.
Right.
Okay, so I moved my list around just a little bit here, just so that because me and Joe actually have a couple of games in common. I'm gonna move my list around. So for my next two, and again, I'm already gonna take Star Fox off because we just talked about. So for my next two, one's gonna ruffle feathers, and the other one everybody should agree. So my first one, the one that's gonna ruffle feathers, and I'm sorry to say it, go play it again. Go play it again right fucking now. GoldenEye. I understand.
I was waiting.
GoldenEye is revolutionary. I remember playing multiplayer was a blast.
Yeah.
Go play it now.
No.
Go play it now. I'd rather go play Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is better. But
Absolutely,
GoldenEye,
amen.
I'm sorry.
That also aged horribly though.
True. These are true. These are both true.
I think Perfect Dark's aged way better. And then finally, this one everybody should agree with. And I'm surprised no one's brought it up yet. I thought you were going to, Josh. Virtual Fighter, first one.
I'd rather play Virtua Fighter than Primal Rage. I'll say that. But yeah, it looks like shit. Virtua Fighter. It does look really bad.
I'll be honest with you. I think the first great Virtual Fighter game was Virtua Fighter 3 on Dreamcast. But 1 and 2.
I really like the last one that they made. It was 5. But yeah,
those are good. But the first two, especially the first one,
I agree. I'd rather play Tekken or something that was similar in that era. Virtua Fighter definitely very bad. And then GoldenEye, I knew one of you mofos was gonna say, but it's true. It's just the truth. And I don't know. I didn't play. I'm not a super special member on Switch, so I didn't play the new GoldenEye or whatever the hell they did. It's just fucking GoldenEye, right, on Switch.
Yeah.
For
So what they did was they ported it on the Switch with online play. They also ported it to the Xbox. They updated the graphics, but there's no online play. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It doesn't matter which one you pick.
Only on the Switch there's online play.
I bet you the hit detection.
On the Switch, no online play for the Xbox.
I bet you the hit
upgraded it though.
The hit detection is probably terrible. Like after playing a game like Overwatch, where it's like, oh, these are the hit points. This is the arm. You get this many points. This is the arm, the head. You kill them. Like it probably doesn't know what's going on.
And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I used to play GoldenEye back in the day when we played multiplayer. I always picked Family Jansen's character. Was it Xena or?
Okay.
I always picked him. Just saying.
Okay.
All I remember is Odd Job and Jaws.
Yep. And then don't worry, Joe. I'm not skipping you. I just moved my games around so we can kind of like do two birds with one stone. But then Joe's next two. One I never even heard of. The other one I'm surprised it took this long to bring up. He's got the early Rainbow Six games and Siphon filter.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, Joe. Oh man. I love Siphon Filter. I liked it more. That's why I spent most of my time playing. Oh wait, you never heard of Siphon Filter?
No.
Is that the one you were talking about?
I know
Oh
the
my
Rainbow Six games. I know Rainbow Six, but I don't know.
Jay, trust me. Don't listen to Joe. Go play Siphon Filter now. You must. No, I used to love that. I used to love taking a taser.
What is it?
PS1. PS1, you were, I forget the guy's name, I think it was Sam or some shit. And then you had a taser and you had to zap people from behind. It's like stealth. It's like Metal Gear Solid.
I don't like stealth games.
Maybe it's not. It's semi-stealth, and you're a secret agent, and you get to I remember taking people down with a little gun. It probably has aged poorly. I haven't played it in fucking.
I mean, Joe's got a high on this. Joe says games are not important, so. But.
Oh, and then what was the other one you guys said?
He says the early Rainbow Six. Early ones.
Shaq, what do you got on Rainbow Six, man?
I like the Rainbow Six games. I remember having the original Rainbow Six on my computer. I remember buying the game when it came out from BJ's as a kid.
Damn.
Rainbow Six on my computer. When BJ, I don't even know if BJ still sells games, but they sold it at that point.
No, they sell soda.
Yeah, they had games at that point, and I remember buying it from BJ's, and I love the Rainbow Six games. They were always really fun, but they have aged terribly. Same thing with, I think, Siphon Filter. I don't think Siphon Filter aged well. I loved it as a kid. I loved it as a kid, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think Siphon Filter is also on the SNES the PS1 Mini that they released. And I think because I remember playing it 5-6 years ago. And I think it was when the PS Mini dropped, because I think that dropped in 2018 or something, 2017.
It's one of those little ones that have the games. Okay, all right. I'll play on my fucking Steam Deck right now, man. Yo, I'm getting nostalgia for that, man.
Yeah.
I told you about Ruffles and Feathers.
It's cool, though. I know.
And
feathers ruffled.
I didn't really... when I played it as an adult, I was like, man, this game's kind of bad. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I love this game.
It's probably worse than Metal Gear Solid. I'll give it that. And I spent more time with Siphon Filter, so that's probably why I didn't play Metal Gear Solid. But yeah.
I still remember, Chala said, if you could taser people until they went on fire. In the game.
Yes.
And I remember doing that as a kid, and that was the best part of the game for me. I would just taser people until they went on fire, and I always failed the mission. And I'm like, oh, this game sucks, but I would always play it to just taser people. And then as an adult I played it and I was like, man, this is not it.
Yeah. Alright. So we're getting close to the end here, so Shaq, your next two.
My next two, I did have GoldenEye on my list, and I also have Perfect Dark, but I'm not going to mention them because I feel like they're too similar. I'm not going to add.
Same shit.
I'm not going to add Perfect Dark because it's one's a little bit more realistic, and Perfect Dark, it goes for that more realistic feel.
Yeah.
But I think the original. I think the original Deus Ex aged terribly because of its graphics.
The what?
Deus Ex.
I know what it is, but yeah.
No, I'm lost. Someone explain. Go ahead and explain, because I don't even know what that game is.
Deus Ex. It was a game on PC that was. It's kind of difficult to explain. There's a bunch of different iterations there. I think they're up to. I think they released a game on the Xbox One.
Okay.
Or it was PS3. It was Deus Ex. I can't remember the name of it. And then there was Deus Ex 2. And I think Deus Ex 2 still holds up, but the original Deus Ex graphically is really, really bad. It's kind of it plays almost like a Hitman game, in the way that you control the world. And I think it was made by the same studio. But it's more of a cerebral type game, a Deus Ex Machina, AIs and machines. I don't really remember the actual story because I haven't played it in so long, but I remember loving it as a kid. Chala is saying in the chat, it's like a cyberpunk, and you play as a cyber cop. Yeah,
it sounds cool though. It definitely sounds
Hitman,
cool.
but you're playing as like a cyber cop.
Gotcha.
And really good story.
I know. All right. It's coming to me now. Okay. Yep. Yes.
Really good story.
I know what you're talking about now.
Really
I
good
had
game,
to see the title. Now that I see the title, it's coming. It's it's popping up.
Graphically, it was really bad. The first one, it would be if they remade the first one. I think it would be really, really good. I think that's a game that's deserving of a remake because it hit every other point. You had great story, great characters, like fun gameplay for the time. I think they could do some mechanics changes and things for a more updated version. But I think a remake of Deus Ex, the first one, would be great. And my second game is this might be a hot take, but maybe not. The original Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Dude.
Okay.
All right. So Tony, all right, cool. You killed two birds with one stone because Tony Hawk is on my list. It's not because of the game. It's because of the culture. Who gives a shit about skating anymore? Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, and I know.
The soundtrack's awesome, though. Suicidal Tendencies. Let's go.
No, I'm saying, dude, here's the thing, and I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm just going to say I used to own a video game store. I'll talk about that more on another channel. But we had what was it? The last one that they did with the little skateboard. I think it was Project 8. It fucking sat up there on our shelf and collected dust. In 2014, this is 10 years ago. Because who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about Tony Hawk. People have their wave boards now. People have the shit with the two wheels, the segways. Like who's out there skating, wearing zoomies? Sorry, Jay, I don't know if you're still into that shit.
No, I was never into it. I just like Suicidal Tendencies.
But that's part of my criteria is that something that was so big. I never look at me. Do you think I fucking rode a skateboard? Never in my fucking life. But I did play the games. Yeah. I played the Tony Hawk games because that was part of the culture. That was part of the time. You knew the skateboarding kids, the posers. They didn't have a fucking skateboard either. But that doesn't exist anymore. And, Tony Hawk. And who's the new Tony Hawk? Who's the LeBron James of
There isn't.
Tony? I don't know who that is, so.
Yeah, there isn't, I don't think. I think the original Tony Hawk games are great games. I think they're really fun. I think the best one is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Graphically, they're abysmal. Graphically, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Soundtrack-wise, I think the soundtrack's really great.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I think the games inherently are really fun, and that's what inspired like the skate games, and I think the skate games are phenomenal as well.
I had Skate or Die. I played that one more than Tony Hawk or something like that.
Skate 1, Skate 2, and Skate 3.
Yeah.
Is there a Skate 3?
I think there is. And there was another one, Wasted or whatever it was called. But that whole culture, it's like, it's just a dead culture.
You can almost make the argument, it's like almost like Guitar Hero and DDR. Like
it is. Yes. That was why I put them, Yeah,
it's in that same vein. Guitar Hero, like quasi sports games.
Because I'm sure there's kids out there on skateboards somewhere, but they're very niche and it's not prevalent. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing. I don't see people in the Zoomies store or the Spitfire. I don't even remember the names, but you used to see all that shit, DC shoes, all that stuff all over the mall.
Yeah, that emo culture's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that. I'm a metalhead, okay? Don't be like...
No. I was thinking you were
silence right now.
I would have pictured you with a skateboard, Jay. I'm sorry.
Ask Joe. I couldn't stand those motherfuckers. There's two things that annoyed me in high school. The skaters and the hacky sack people. My God.
Oh, God. Well, it's the same people.
They were annoying, all right?
Oh, man.
I was a nerd that kept to myself, all right?
Handball people.
I'm sorry, Josh.
Dude, don't talk about handball. I was one of the handball people.
You were the handball kid?
Yes.
I was trying to play basketball. These fucking handball kids were in the way. Like, dude, get out of it. Come on.
Dude, I was basketball and handball. Like, I loved both of those games.
Yeah.
And, dude, I was always in the handball court or the basketball court. If I wasn't on the handball court, I was in the basketball court.
No, he talked about Deus Ex, Jay, was his other game. Man, I shit about that. I don't know anything.
Yeah, Chala in the chat said Deus Ex Human Revolution is worth a playthrough if no one has played it. It's on Xbox 360, PC, etc. Yeah, that was a good one as well, the Human Revolution.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry, brain fart. Where are we now?
Is it me?
I think it's you, Josh.
All right, I'm going to speed through because I know we got to go. We got to go eat and do other shit. Two games, very similar. Similar reasons. I'm just going to say them. BMX XXX and DOA Beach Volleyball.
Oh, my God. I remember those games. And I am not surprised. Those are good picks. Very good picks.
I agree.
My fucking friend, who shall remain nameless, this idiot kid who I'm not even going to say his name, used to come over to my house. He was like, Josh, I just want to play DOA beach volleyball. I want to play. And God knows what he did after he got back to his house. I don't even want to fucking know. But, dude, it's like, it's a fucking volleyball game. I'll play DOA 4 any day of the week.
Okay, listen, I understand, like, I actually like those characters, the DOA characters, but it's not fun to play. Once you get over the bouncing tits, it's a boring-ass motherfucking game.
Dude, I get over the bouncing tits immediately because it's not real.
Yeah, I know, but when you're 13,
yeah,
14,
I agree.
15,
when you're 13, exactly. But not when you're 20-something.
But like in my teens, once you got over the bouncy tits, it was a boring fucking game.
You're playing fucking volleyball.
DOA 2 on Dreamcast was amazing.
Mine was.
DOA 3 on Xbox was amazing. Like the games, but the volleyball, no.
DOA 4 was my game. We played that a lot all the time, and I'd be like, so and so.
BMX Triple X, my God, they were just trying so fucking hard to capture that 13, 14-year-old raging hormone teens.
Yeah, totally. Do you remember?
Like,
what the reward was?
I don't mind tits and ass, but they went ham on that shit. And
do you guys remember what the reward was for winning?
No.
Oh, did you ever play BMX XXX?
I did.
Joe,
but
you
I don't
had
remember
this
it.
game. Say something. I know you're still there, Joe. Oh, Joe might be leaving work soon. Maybe
you got to watch a video of a Scores strip club randomly, like just a stripper on the stage.
It was like Road Rash. You remember that game, Road Rash?
Road Rash?
A long ass time
was that
ago
the one
on
with the
PC.
bike game?
Yes,
bike game?
yes,
oh, yeah,
the motorcycle game. And then if you won, I think something like that happened too.
I don't remember that. Okay, but I mean, this day and age, I mean, I guess there's still tits out there in games, God of War, but this is just like, you can't enjoy the gameplay. There's nothing in it. It's fucking bikes and volleyball. Two games that look terrible.
Stupid game. I didn't like it. Even when it first came out, I didn't like it. So.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna wrap this up with my two. Okay, so I already gave you Star Fox. So I'm gonna combine me and Joe's here because we actually have a game in common here to end it. So for Joe, he's got Twisted Metal 1.
Good job, Joe.
And then
on my
this
list.
is the one we both have on here. Tomb Raider.
You redeemed yourself.
That's on my list as well.
Yeah.
Listen, the thumbnail is right there for you guys to look at.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is, Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Yeah.
And I will not lie to you. I was like 11 or 12 when Tomb Raider first came out, okay?
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing. We had a female protagonist like that. Oh my God, we were all in love with her grunts and her moans and them big silicone tits. And
polygons, yep.
I get it. When you look at it now, oh, woof. Even if you play Tomb Raider now, it still feels. I will say this: the Tomb Raider remake, the recently rebooted games, I think are pretty damn good. Not gonna lie to you, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But these old the first 3 Tomb Raider games, ooh. And as far as Twisted Metal, I don't really remember Twisted Metal 1 that well, but we just played Twisted Metal Black on Twitch, and I didn't like it. So the one I played with my other friend was Twisted Metal 3. But yeah, I don't know. But he's Twisted Metal 1's age bad, so I don't know. So what do you guys got on Tomb Raider and Twisted Metal 1?
Shaq, you first, and then I'll go chomp at the bit because I got a lot to say about both.
I think Twisted Metal aged horrifically. That's also on my list, but I think the movie is going to age even worse than or the series, whatever it is going to be even worse than the game.
Yeah.
Another game that I would like have in the same vein as Twisted Metal,
Carmageddon.
Yeah, that's another abomination.
Or Crush Hour was the other one I remember. That's the WWE one.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
No, I didn't. I had it.
all of those like car fighter, whatever they were, aged horrifically. Also, this also is a hot take, but I think like in the same vein is Armored Core. I think I used to love the Armored Core games.
It's a hot take. You're right. Yep. It is a hot take.
But if you play them like now, they kind of have the same appeal as like a a Twisted Metal. It's just like a robot fighter one-on-one type of game.
No, I'll disagree with that only because you can build up your robot and go out and get the parts and sell.
Can't you do that? Weren't you able to do that in Twisted Metal?
No, you picked Sweet Tooth and then that was it, or whoever the hell.
I remember Axel, Sweet Tooth.
I thought you could pick from all the cars, and then I think in the later one you could make your own car and take things from like the other cars to make like a supercar.
Maybe in the later ones. I only remember the first couple, but the Armored Core, the way you can change your customization is like so much better from what I remember.
Oh yeah,
I'm super excited. So yeah, well, Carmageddon I don't even think I've ever played. Crush Hour I had, and it's like nobody likes car combat. I will say this though, it might have been the precursor for the soccer game. I just fucking played it. Come on, guys. What's the one? The soccer car? The cars?
Oh, Rocket League.
Rocket League!
Oh,
I fucking been... there you go.
Me.
So at least we have that. That's as close as we get. Let me talk about my girl, man. Lara Croft. She was on my Mount Rushmore. Back when we did our Mount Rushmore, make sure you guys go check out that video.
Oh yeah, that was a great video.
Because she was iconic, man. And I remember calling the Eidos hotline every fucking, wasting however many cents per minute because we didn't have the internet really too much back then. I tried to play Tomb Raider 2 again last week.
Oh,
and
boy.
this is what I was talking about with the camera angles. Why can I not use it was such a great invention, whoever thought of it when they made fucking Xbox, to use that right joystick to be able to turn your body so I can see what the fuck is in front of me. I have to make this jump across, and I just have to have faith or know that the thing is there. Like, the controls are so terrible for it. And also, don't I'm just gonna come out and say it. Don't masturbate to fake, polygon.
Listen, when the game first came out, guys,
it's not real. They're not real people. All right. You might have a cosplayer that maybe your girlfriend will dress up as fucking Lara, but I'm saying I don't know, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that. To each his own.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with your sentiments.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? Do you guys got the? Is that it? Is that the whole 10 games? Everybody got 10 games, or we're on our last cycle here?
I wasn't even counting. I'm not even sure. I was just.
You said most of the ones on my list. The only thing I was gonna say was Magic Online, but I don't want to talk about that because nobody cares. Yeah.
Throw two more out from what I have here.
Go ahead. I went through almost 10 of mine and 10 of Joe's. I didn't know if you guys had all 10. I kind of like lost track of the cycle.
All right, I'll talk about Magic
I
Online
think you
real
guys
quick.
both have two more because I remember I went first. So I went first with Joe's list. So yeah.
Everything on mine was said except for Magic Online. Yeah, I play Magic. I know most of you are like, "What? Isn't that what you play?" No, I play Magic Arena. Arena was what I've always wanted and never got. Magic Online, the fucking game client looks so terrible, and I see that.
I'm laughing in the comments. You guys are funny.
Shaquille, do you know the difference, or did you? You probably do.
I played the original Magic Online for a little while, and to my knowledge, you have access, I think, to like every card made, but like the UI is terribly like designed and really clunky.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, like playing online was really difficult. Just like getting into a game and stuff was difficult. But like Arena is like a breeze. It's like
it's so easy to
there's a huge card base. Like it's easy to make decks. It's easy to play online. My only issue is I wish they had the two-headed giant feature where you could play 2-on-2 like they used to have in like some of the old Magic games, like on Xbox and stuff, like Magic 2012, Magic 2011, 2013, where you could play with a friend and you verse two other people online 2-on-2.
I don't miss those either, and I played all of those every year. I used to play two-headed giant with somebody we had, or like combo together. Magic Arena. I'm so happy it exists. It's like. That's all I can say. It's everything I wanted. And the sounds, the designs, the fact you have card sleeves. Fucking Magic Online is just like, here we go. It looks like an old game client from like 1995. And people are still playing it. Magic players still at my LGS are like, why don't you just play Magic Online? Because it looks fucking terrible. It's terrible.
It is still like a 1995 client.
No, they didn't change anything.
Yeah, it's
It
terrible.
still makes the same sounds. Yeah.
2 games. I'll just pull 2 games off my list.
Do it.
I had the original Mario Kart from Super Nintendo. I think aged very poorly. Yeah. And I have the original Sims. Because I think if you're going to play the Sims, you should play the modern ones.
Sims, yeah.
Okay.
But I think the original Sims, like, just don't even bother.
I haven't
just
played.
Play the new
It's been
ones.
so long. My buddy, we used to play it on PC way back. It's been so long, so I don't know if I could play. I don't know if I could play those again, honestly.
There's so many better options. Isn't like Second Life one of those? Second Life.
Super Mario Kart. I'm not gonna get mad. I still like Super Mario Kart. I like Mario Kart 64 more, but it was revolutionary at the time, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was definitely. I have to go play it again. It's been a while, but I will say this though.
I think F-Zero is poorly too.
I think Super Mario Kart's better than F-Zero. I will say this though.
Yeah.
I think Super Mario Kart's battle mode still holds up. The racing,
definitely.
not so much.
Okay.
But the battle mode still holds up.
I don't know. I don't even remember Mario Kart, the first one. I was gonna say, like, would you compare it to like? Because I still play RC.
The thing that's annoying about the
ones.
original Super Mario Kart is that it doesn't matter if you're playing 1 player or 2 player. It's always split screen.
Oh god.
But when you play battle mode, they did a really good job with the 4 arenas. The 4 battle arenas are actually designed very well, and that's actually a lot of fun. But as far as like racing goes, it's kind of annoying because you have the race screen, and then you got the map where you see everybody's position, and that's all. I kind of don't like the fact that, like, looking back now, that the split screen's kind of annoying. But with battle mode, you know, when you go 1v1 battle mode, it's actually pretty cool.
Jay, take us home, brother. It's all on you, I think.
Oh, no, I already named all of them.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so here's what we're going to do, Shaq. Well, we did pretty good on time. Shaq, go ahead, plug yourself in. Tell floor is yours, buddy. And just for all the record, everybody, the links are in the description, man. Go ahead, Shaq.
Yeah, like, I'll be brief, just like Jay said. The links are in the description. If you weren't here earlier, I'm from the Round 1 podcast. I talk about video games, sports, anime, pop culture, a bunch of nerd shit. If you're a fan of that stuff, come check me out. On my YouTube, I also I react to sports videos, old sports videos, anime. I do anime recommendations, a bunch of other stuff on there. And then I stream on Twitch 5 days a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays are throwback days. We're currently playing Final Fantasy IX on Tuesday. On Thursday is Metal Gear Solid 1 currently, and then we're doing some modern games. We're playing Sackboy's Big Adventure right now on the Steam Deck, and then afterwards is going to be this guy right here.
Oh, have fun!
Yeah, if you're a fan of any of that stuff, I'd love to have you pass by any of the streams or chat in the comments on YouTube. But yeah,
I gotta swing through. It's tough on my schedule, but I'm gonna try to swing through. But Shaq, thanks so much for taking time off your busy schedule. These last 3 streams we've had with you have been absolute fucking fire. Thank you so much. We fucking love having you on, dude. Thank you for everything.
No problem.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. Yeah,
whenever you want to have me.
I'd love to be on. If you guys want somebody from the Round 1 podcast.
Yeah, like I said, count us both in.
Yeah.
We'd love to come on the Round 1 podcast. But I'm telling you, check out the Round 1 podcast, man. It's good stuff, guys. It's good stuff, man. I can't recommend it enough. I got to go back and listen to some more of the older ones. All right, Josh, on paper, man, what do you got going on?
That's it, man. Josh, on paper, next week, hopefully I'll have some videos up. I had a great stream with you guys tonight. And, make sure you guys check out Shaquille and sub up NerdCage. We got some good stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go and play some Siphon Filter after this, man.
All right. And Shaq, after the stream's over, just stick around for a minute. Guys, just what's coming up real quick. If you haven't already, check out our last week's stream where the games have aged well. We had a lot of fun doing that. Podcast of that is available. Tomorrow, me and Joe would be maybe the last Resident Evil stream because we're almost done. We're going to play Resident Evil 4 Remake 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to start. Joe's going to be coming home from work at 11, so he probably won't get into like about 11:30 or so, but I'm going to start it off. We'll go to about 2 tomorrow. Then Tuesday, we're back playing Metroid Prime, back at our normal time slot Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There'll be no live stream next Thursday because we're going to do a Saturday stream next Saturday, which is May 6th at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are excited to welcome the Jill's Sandwich Shop podcast. It's a Resident Evil podcast, Resident Evil channel. I think they're fantastic. Okay. Be there for that. I'm excited to have them. I've been dying to get these people on for a while now. I love their goddamn channel. We need to get them more exposure for sure. And then finally, the following week on Thursday, back to Thursday on May 11th, we welcome the Cryptic Collectors podcast. You guys may know who Ace Morok is. It's his new podcast. He's a big member of the NerdCage community and the Kaiju community. We can't wait to have him on. I have more stuff to announce, but I can't right now. But I promise you guys, there's some big stuff in the work on NerdCage, guys. We have big stuff on the way. When I'm ready to announce it, I will announce it. I promise. Also, I just want to address something real quick. There's some changes to the channel. If you guys didn't know or figure it out, me and Joe will be addressing that tomorrow on Twitch. I'll leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. That's pretty much it, guys. Again, thank you to Shaq, and thank you to my awesome co-host, Josh of On Paper. We please ask you to comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread that shit like syphilis. So the USA from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, and all of our friends around the world at NerdCageLIVE. And Round 1 podcast and On Paper. Enjoy life. Stay safe. Eat your vegetables. Do your push-ups. Go to the gym. All that good stuff. Let's go Giants. Make a good pick. And let's go Knicks. Miami's going down.
Celtics.
Let's go.
Come on, Celtics, baby. Let's go,
Woo!
Celtics. Let's go, Leprechauns.
All right. Get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. I forgot to promote that. So you guys know where the t-shirt. The link's in the description. Thank you so much. Stick around for these awesome promos, and we'll see you on Twitch tomorrow night. Goodbye.
Thank you, NerdCage Nation, for getting us to 700 subscribers. But Joe, there's still work to do if we're going to give away a free Xbox Series X.
That's right. Get us to 1,500 subs right here on YouTube, and we will give this Xbox Series X away to one lucky winner once we hit our goal.
Come on! Xbox Series X is where it's at. We can play games like Halo and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
And for you sports junkies, you can play the latest Madden and NBA 2K and play almost any game you want under the Fantasticals Xbox Game Pass.
We want you to be able to play all the best games with a brand new Xbox Series X that you can win right here on NerdCage Live.
Once we get to 1,500 subs, we will release a video on how you can enter, and we will give this away on a live stream.
No purchase necessary, US and Canada only. Please subscribe to NerdCage Live.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful!
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe, the galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya?
Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!